It's almost time, people. March Madness. The March for March. But you gotta do one more thing before you get to the big tournament, and that's the little tournaments. The conference tournaments. And Oklahoma made theirs, of course, as always. The Big 12, their part of the bracket includes a second-seeded Kansas, third-seeded Texas, who Oklahoma beat in Austin and could have had him here in Norman. The fifth seed Texas Tech Red Raiders, themselves at the sixth seed, and the Lola Bowl of the 10th seed of the Cyclones of Iowa State. We'll preview Oklahoma's side of the bracket coming up next. Bummer Sooner 1982. Don't go away! Bracket with the highest seeded, second seeded Kansas Jayhawks, at least on their side of the bracket. Kansas 9-8, 12-6 in Big 12 play. They did beat Baylor in the Fog, 71-58. Their head coach Bill Self is a 1985 grad from Oklahoma State University and is in his 18th year in charge of the Kansas Jayhawks. The 2021 Jayhawks have Achiro Agbaji and David McCormick to help them in the scoring double-figure range. That includes Agbaji, number 30 Agbaji, who averages 30.7 points per ball game, 3.6 boards, 1.9 assists, playing in 27 games. Also, David McCormick also played in all 27 games, averaging 13.4 points per ball game, 6.1 boards, and 1.1 assists per ball game. Oklahoma's out-of-state rival Texas will be the third seed, 17-7, 11-6 in Big 12 play. They beat these aforementioned Kansas Jayhawks at the Fog, 84-59. That's the most points Kansas had ever given up in a while, in a loss. Their head coach, Shaka Smart, a 1999 grad from the Canyon University, and is in his sixth year in charge of Texas. Andrew Jones and Courtney Ramsey are there to help him in the double figures averaging scorers. Andrew Jones averages 14.8 points per ball game, 4.8 boards, 2.1 assists per ball game in 22 games. Courtney Ramsey, 13.6 points per ball game, 3.3 rebounds, 4.0 assists per ball game in 22 games. And what's also important, Ramsey, Jones, and Shaka Smart, all three of them were in the Lloyd Noble Center Thursday for senior night. But when we played them in Austin, all three of these players, both players and the one coach, did not participate. The next 5, countdown, 5, that would be the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. 14-9, 9-8 in Big 12 play. They beat the aforementioned Longhorns of Texas, 79-77. Beat them there in Austin. Their head coach, Chris Beard, a 1995 grad from Texas, and is in his second season in charge of Texas Tech. The next team that we're going to look at is a fifth seed, and that's the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, 14-9, 9-8 in Big 12 play. They won at Chris Beard's alma mater, Texas. Got them there, 79-77. Big win there for Chris Beard. As before mentioned, Chris Beard, 1995 grad from Texas, and is in his fifth year back in the Big 12 Conference. So he's got 2 double-figure scorers for Tech helping him out. Number 0, Matt McClung, and 1, Terrence Shannon. 0, McClung, Matt McClung, 16.4 points per ball game, 2.6 boards, 2.4 assists in 25 games. Terrence Shannon, numero uno, Shannon Jr., averages 12.5 points per ball game, 4.3 boards, 1.2 assists per ball game in 24 games. The next preview is our Sooners. Now, this will be the Saturday game for sure. This is what will happen, believe Wednesday night at the T-Mobile Arena, T-Mobile Center. Oklahoma, Iowa State will preview OU first. Oklahoma at 6th seed, 14-9, 9-8 in Big 12 play. They beat Kansas. Remember when they beat Kansas in Norman, 75-68? Their head coach, Lon Kruger, 1974 grad from Kansas State, and is in his 10th year in charge of Oklahoma. Scoring leaders for Oklahoma. Number 12, Austin Reeves, and down 1 number to 11, Davion Harmon. Austin Reeves first. Austin averages 17.5 points per ball game for the Sooners, 5.7 boards, 4.9 assists, playing in 21 games. Number 11, Davion Harmon, 13.0 points per ball game, 3.3 boards, 2.1 assists per ball game, 23 games for Harmon. The 10th seed, the last seed, the lowly seed, Iowa State Cyclones, 2-21, 0-18 in Big 12 play. They did, however, in non-conference, take care of Jackson State. That's their best win, 60-45. Their head coach, Steve Prohm, 1997 grad from Alabama, and is in his 6th year in charge of Iowa State. So maybe they don't have a win all year, but they have 2 players to watch out for that can score in the double-figure scores. 45, Rozier Bolton, and 5, Jalen Coleman Lance. We'll start with Rozier Bolton, 15.4 points per ball game, 4.9 boards, 3.9 assists per ball game, playing in 20 of the 23 games. 22 of the 23 games was played while number 5, Jalen Coleman Lance, was in action, averaging 14.3 points per ball game, 3.9 boards, 1.1 assists per ball game for the Cyclones of Iowa State. As we already talked about in the preview, in the post game, boom! OU Inside Podcast. Check them out, people. They know their stuff. What's even better is they have a Patreon to where they will do, during football season that is, they will do post-game shows. And during the non-football years, football time, like right now, they will do an additional podcast for Patreon followers only. Keegan Renault also does, you can hear the extra pod, the Patreon pod, and the post-game podcasts. Either one, $4 on the Patreon app will get it for you. $5 if you want to see probably one of the best film breakdowns I've seen in a while with Keegan Renault. They have changed the Patreon, though. Look for Through the Keyhole, and you'll find it. It's not that hard. Guys, thanks for watching. My name's Harry James. Catch this and all my other videos on YouTube, Boomer Sooner 1982. Also, Facebook, Harry James Taylor, or on the Twitter Mac, @HypeManHarry. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Boomer Sooner, everybody. I'm out of here. Peace!